Yep, I see red. You're good.
All right, y'all. So thank you all for joining me today with our Fat Loss Forever seminar. I'm super excited about this one. I feel like a lot of times when I sit down to create these presentations, I'm like, oh, let's talk about nutrition for a whole hour. But it really comes down to it, it's all about this in here and behavior change. So I feel like I can tell you all the things about nutrition, what to eat, okay? I do that with the meal guide, but when it comes to like actually achieving results and then keeping those results, it's all in here, okay? So we're gonna talk a lot about mindset and ultimately how to fast track your results through mindset, through goal setting, through identity. So, contents today, like I said, we're gonna talk about identity, goal setting 101, tea time, okay, which is something that I literally just learned about like 2 days ago. I was reading a book, and I think it's super interesting, the whole concept, so I'm going to go over that. And then I have a worksheet that everybody is going to fill out and give to me by Wednesday of next week in order to get their 10 points. And whoever obviously wasn't here, they'll get their little baby 5 points. Okay, so y'all are already winning while you're here. So I appreciate y'all all showing up, whether you want to learn more or just get your 10 points. Okay? But I appreciate y'all all being here. So, have you ever set a goal that you haven't achieved? Raise your hand if you've set a goal that you haven't achieved. Okay? Everybody has done this. I have done this last year. If you didn't know, I was in my like running girl era, and I signed up for so many races throughout the year, and I did them, but like in the back of my head, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna run a marathon. And then that never happened, because I'm like, I'm really not, this is just a little phase of my life, okay? So we all set goals that we haven't achieved. So you may have thought, nothing works for me, I'm a failure, okay? I'm the problem, I'll never figure it out, the results don't stick, I'm stuck, okay? And you're not alone in that. Okay, like you just saw, everybody raised their hand when it came to setting goals and not achieving that. So every time you do that though, you send proof to yourself that you are maybe, okay, the problem. Results never stay. Okay, we don't want that. We want to fill the bucket of I'm winning instead of losing. There's this concept in, I think Atomic Habits is where it is. It's like you always want to vote for yourself, and that's part of that, okay? So setting goals, maybe unrealistic goals, and then not achieving those, okay, that's filling that bucket of no's in your votes. We want more votes for the yes, okay? So, not alone. This is this vicious goal setting cycle, okay, that we typically go through. We set the goal, okay, we crush it for the first 2 weeks, and then guess what? Life gets busy, and things happen, kids' schedules, okay? We maybe have a spouse that brings in certain foods that we told them not to. Now they're in the pantry and we're overeating on them, okay? Life gets in the way, and then we get defeated, and then we quit, okay? And then we just do it over again. So like I said, we just keep going through this vicious cycle. Okay, we're never going to actually get anywhere when it comes to our results, our goals. Okay, we want to break this cycle. In a second, I'll obviously go through the new and improved cycle of goal setting. But next time will we be different? We always say that. I feel like some people, like maybe you hit your January challenge and maybe it didn't go out as planned, and you were just like, oh, by the 3rd week mark, hint, that's right now, right? Okay, we were like, I'm good, okay? My schedule's getting too busy, I don't really want to commit to these habits anymore, but next time, there's always going to be a next time, okay? We don't actually own up to that, we'll always be saying this, that next time will be different. So I hope today we can kind of solidify these things and these actions, so then next time, okay, we will hit our goals. Next time we will vote for ourselves. Okay. So, this is when I'm supposed to tell you that you're not the problem and it's your goal setting process. But I have read so many goal books, self-development books, and they always have a chapter about goal setting. Okay, and they always say like literally, I was reading it was a course about goal setting and stuff, and she literally said this. She said, "You're not the problem, it's your system, it's your goal setting process." Now, I think I literally made a post about this, and I always thought that, but I think there's a part of it where it's like, some of it's you. Some of it's you. And it's not just your goal setting process. Because I've done the worksheets. I have done a lot of things and set myself up. I've set the outcome-based goal, behaviors, all things. I crush it for 2 weeks, and then guess what? I don't hit it, and then I just forget about it. But I don't think that's the goal setting process issue. I think it has a lot to do with like this right here. Okay. So it's not just that goal setting process. As humans, we like to blame everything but ourselves. And I feel like once I started taking ownership, just like we're reading extreme ownership from the challenge, okay, we need to take ownership of our actions, of the things that we're doing, of failing, okay? We can't blame our kids forever. We can't blame their schedule forever. Okay? We can't blame our spouse. We can't blame the gym. We can't blame the meal guides. We have to actually take ownership up to what we have. Okay? Because ultimately, we are in control of this. Okay? Nobody else. Nobody else. So, first step, we need to take ownership of quitting on ourselves. So right now, I want you to think in your brain, be like, okay, I forgive myself for quitting on myself, right? Because basically, when we've set those goals and not achieved them, that is quitting on ourselves, okay? So make sure we have that in our brain. So it's not just you or your goal setting process. We need to make sure we're working on ourselves. Okay, so reading books like Extreme Ownership, Atomic Habits, that's kind of where we immerse ourselves and learn more about our goals and what we actually need to do. So, first topic, identity. I think this is so important. Every year, I sit down and I have a whole 2024 goals, and I write out a lot of goals, whether it be my health, money, financial stuff, business stuff, and I write, eventually I'll explain all the things, behaviors, and then intentions on those behaviors. So every goal, or every year I do that, and then at the bottom, I write my mantra, and that kind of guides my whole entire year. And some of those statements in that paragraph are not necessarily true right now, but I want them to be, okay? Because it's something that I want to achieve, who I want to become in the future. So if you don't have a clear identity, okay, then that can kind of make things fuzzy, if that makes sense. So, identity is everything when it comes to behavior change, like I said. So what is it? It's who you think you are, okay? A lot of times, we think we're this, or we think we're not a morning person. We think that we can't get to the gym 5 days a week, okay? We're not a gym girly or boy, I don't know. But it's interesting because these are the characteristics that form that identity. So if you say, I'm not a morning person, enough times, you're gonna start to believe that, and then when it comes to, I kind of do need to work out in the morning, or I'm not gonna get it in because my kid's schedule, then that is gonna become a huge issue. So reframing your brain to be like, I am a morning person, can go pretty far. So what's amazing about identity is that it can change super easily. You can go to bed tonight a certain person and then wake up tomorrow and be like, no, I'm this, okay? So I think it is also in Atomic Habits where they talk about smokers and people that just kind of reframe. It's I don't smoke, okay? They're able to kind of change a lot faster and kind of give up to that habit because they identify as someone who does not smoke. So we got to make sure identity is in line with our values, okay, what we want to achieve in the future. So here's an example, and I kind of gave already examples, but you hate cooking, okay? And you've told yourself for years that you suck at cooking, everything you cook is disgusting. You put it on the table and your family's like, disgusting, okay? And maybe that is true. Maybe that is your identity right then and there. But you want to lose body fat right now, okay? So, and the majority of your calories are consumed by pre-processed foods and eating out all the time, and that's just obviously not optimal when it comes to losing body fat. So, you have to change something, right? And you begin to cook healthy meals, but you drag your feet every Sunday when you have to go to the grocery store, and you're just like, ugh, I just don't want to do this, but this is what I need to do, okay? And you haven't really changed that identity yet. So that's a start, right? We admitted that we had an issue, okay? We're trying to fix the issue, but that specific person in that last example hasn't changed their mindset, hasn't changed their identity just yet. So when I wrote this, I was like, wow, this is, what the heck? I should write that. I hope y'all can see that. There it goes. So getting to the starting line doesn't grant you automatic access to the finish line. You have to practice at identity, just like everything else when it comes to training, nutrition, everything, meal prepping. You have to practice that day in and day out, or okay, you're not going to get to where you want to be. So you start to reframe your mindset and identity around cooking. The I'm a bad cook turns into I'm a good cook. Okay. You begin to immerse yourself in the cooking world. Maybe you follow some like TikTokers or I don't know, Instagram people that like to cook, or maybe kind of cook really simple, easy meals. So then you start to kind of reframe that mindset. Educate yourself, cooking techniques, okay, and then you find some easy meals that you can kind of replicate so that you can stay on track. And guess what? You get the results that you want. Okay? It's not obviously as easy as that, but it takes time and it takes practice and it takes kind of like consuming the right media or the right education in order to get to that goal. Okay? So, huge thing right there. Next, we're going into, well, one thing I'll say about identity also is that sometimes when people explain it, it's very kind of like woo-woo. It's like, that really doesn't matter. But I promise you that it's super powerful. And that's why I always try to start with it, because I think if we just view ourselves as one thing, we are never going to reach any other goal that we have set. Okay? We have to kind of be in that growth mindset. We're not fixed in our ways. We have to grow. So changing your identity may kind of feel a little crazy, or it might feel like you're being taken out of control that you have, just because it's so unknown or uncomfortable, but it's pretty important. So next, we'll get into goal setting 101. So this is the improved goal setting cycle. So we set our outcome-based goal. We get clear on our why. That's another huge thing that I love to harp on, because I think that this and identity, I think, is like everything when it comes to actual change in your daily activities and eventually, obviously, getting to your results. We need to establish behavior-based goals and then set those implementation intentions. And Andy always goes over that too. I think he calls it implementation decisions. But that's also a huge one when it comes to actually doing the things necessary to get your outcome-based goal. Okay? So a lot of people will kind of do the clear on the why, behavior-based goals, and then they forget that implementation intentions, and then guess what? You have no like real appointments with yourself. You don't have the details of achieving those goals. So set your outcome-based goal. So what is outcome-based goals? They are the end result you like to achieve. They're typically number-based and quantitative. So I love this because I'm a very black and white person. It's either yes or no. Okay, there's no if, there's no gray area. It's either you hit it or you don't. So setting goals like I just want to look good and feel good that's not outcome-based goal at all. Like, you can't measure that really at all. So I always like to think is like, can I track it, and can I see progress towards that goal every single week, every single day when it comes to that. It's like kind of, if you want to think about it, like here's your map. This is the destination that you want to get to, okay? And it's not always controllable, which is kind of frustrating, but I feel like with enough practice and enough kind of dedication towards this specific goal, I think it can become controllable. So examples, like I said, kind of number-based, lose 20 pounds, get 10,000 steps every day, maybe get 5 pull-ups when it comes to your training, run a certain distance, be able to sit down, stand up without assistance, and then finish out. I added this because most of y'all are challenge people. Finish out the challenge at 100%. That's all quantitative. We can track that every week, every day. Okay? Next, we need to get clear on our why. So this is another huge thing when it comes to achieving your goals. And when I first started kind of getting into this, I had a very hard time like establishing my why, because I felt very like icky when I like said it. So like when I think about my health and fitness goals, it's always like how I look. And that's like very vain, and I've always been vain my whole life. We ask my parents. But like I just felt icky for saying that. But if that motivates me to do the things that I need to do every single day, who else, like, who cares, okay? So your why is your North Star, is the reasoning behind your goal and why you want to achieve that. It's your why your goal is like aligned with your current values and lifestyle, and why you want to achieve said goal to challenge yourself in the future, okay? So if you don't actually understand why you want to lose 5 pounds, why you want to get 10 pull-ups or run a certain distance, you're not going to actually be able to keep up the habits, keep up the behavior-based things that you've set in order to achieve the goal. So, examples. This is more that look good, feel good thing, okay? You move more comfortably throughout the day, allow you to play sports with your kids, have energy, live a longer life of independence, look good, feel great, okay? Because I feel like a lot of people, like, this is their goals, and it needs to be more specific, okay? These are your whys behind your goals, okay? So these are a lot of questions, and I'll go through them, and some of these are on the worksheet, but I wish I had these when I was trying to establish my why behind what I wanted to achieve, just because it's really hard, and I feel like a lot of people don't like sit down and reflect enough at all. It's kind of awkward because you're sitting down and you're like, do I really want to spend this much time on myself? Do I really want to spend this much time in my head? That's another thing that like people are scared of when it comes to certain things. So questions like, how will achieving your outcome-based goal enhance your life and make you happier? Because when it comes down to it, all we're trying to do in this life is be happy, and that's ultimately my goal. So if it really doesn't make you happier, then why are we trying to achieve that? What are you willing to do to achieve this goal? A lot of people don't like to sacrifice and do certain things, or they don't realize the sacrifice that needs to be in place in order to achieve the goal. So we need to make sure we're realistic and yes, okay? Because a lot of people, I always think of like bodybuilders and stuff, and like to get that shredded, to step on stage and do that stuff, that is insanely difficult. Like it's crazy. And I am not willing to sacrifice that, sacrifice my, honestly, like hormones, all that stuff. You have to really think about like, what am I actually willing to do and what am I not? And that's what leads me to that next question. It's like, what are you not willing to achieve, to do, not willing to do to achieve the goal? Because sometimes it's like not eating out with your family or bringing your Tupperware to the restaurant and you're like, what am I doing here? Like that's not enjoying life. So how do you want to feel after achieving your outcome-based goal? I thought about this, and the other day I stepped on the scale and I was the lowest that I've been in probably 3 years. And I just looked at it and I was like, and I just stepped off. Like old Maddie would think getting to that number would be like so like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, okay? But it's not, because it's just data to me now, to where like setting an outcome-based goal for me personally of losing however many pounds is not gonna kind of do that or fuel my fire, okay? So we gotta make sure that that's important. And then, are you pursuing this goal for yourself or is it for someone else? I also thought of an example of like, in high school, I just wanted to look good for boys, right? Okay, that was my goal. I was trying to do everything for other people, or I thought I was, and that's just not fulfilling at all either. So make sure that you're doing it for yourself, not your kids, not your spouse, because a lot of people set goals and they're like, I want to be able to sit on the ground and play with my grandkids. Yes, that's amazing, but like, what happens when your grandkids aren't on the ground anymore and you're just living your life and your grandkids are gone and away, okay? You have to do this stuff for you, not anyone else. Because some people can fuel you for enough time, but you need to make sure you're filling your cup, and yeah, that's a big concept. And then, is your outcome-based goal aligned with your priorities? I also thought another example of this is like, I feel like a lot of women who have babies and then right away they want to lose like 30 pounds. It's like, no, you just gave birth to a human that you have to keep alive. Let's kind of focus on that, and maybe we can't always focus on our health right then and there, because your priority is making sure that baby's alive and well, and not losing 30 pounds and going crazy, okay? So make sure they align. Next, we are getting into behavior-based goals. So, like I said earlier, some people kind of just stop at setting the goal, but then they don't really know or don't realize what they need to do in order to get to that goal. So, what is behavior-based goals? They're actions, they're verbs, okay, and what you're willing to take to achieve a goal. I always like to bucket these things into like, they involve physical, mental, nutritional, and lifestyle behaviors. And it might not be where you're focusing on all four of those things like at the same exact time, but eventually most of your goals, if they're health and fitness related, all involve those four topics. And they're always controllable, always controllable. So examples of this would be, go on a 30-minute walk every day if your goal is 10,000 steps. Eat 150 grams of protein a day if your goal is, say, getting 5 pull-ups, so we know we're fueled and building muscle, or at least maintaining that muscle while we hit our gym training. Get to the gym at least 3 days out of the week. Get in bed at 9 p.m. if like hunger and appetite are an issue, okay, it might be that we need to actually set a bedtime. In order to achieve our nutritional goals, we need to set that bedtime so then our sleep is in check, so those hunger hormones aren't harping on us every day. And then another example would be like track my calories in an app. If your goal is weight loss, we actually need to understand how many calories are you intaking every single day in order to hit that calorie deficit. So how do we know which behavior-based goals to start with? So you might, well, not might, because you're eventually going to do it, okay? But we need to make a list of all the behavior-based goals that you can think of when it comes to that outcome-based goal. But you need to ask yourself, like, are they going to be an easy win? Are you actually excited to work on those things? Because you can set a goal, you can set behaviors around that, and then if you look at it and you're like, ugh, it's that whole like dragging your feet when it comes to it, it's not going to be sustainable. And we want sustainable results. We want sustainable actions that we can implement every single day in order to get to that goal. So I always say, well, I think the next slide says that. Oh, maybe it doesn't. In this, I think. But later I write that like we always want to start small small little baby habits, and that will kind of help us build on those week to week, so then those small habits become super easy, habitual, and then you're able to grow from there. I have some nutrition ladies, and we always set like a big 3 each week. It's just 3 things that I want you to do every single day. And it might not be every single day. It might be by the end of the week, I need you to do this for me. It doesn't need to be this massive, huge plan, and it doesn't need to overwhelm you, because that's when we go to that vicious goal setting cycle of where we get busy, get defeated, and then we quit, okay? So small steps. So set your implementation intentions. So I said this earlier, but this is also a huge thing that people forget. We need to set appointments for ourselves when it comes to these behavior-based goals. So what is this? It's the little baby nitty-gritty details, the specific details of how you will achieve your behavior-based goals. In order to blank, I need to do this and this. They're specific and detailed. So examples of this: I will walk on my lunch break on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12:45 p.m. Okay, there's specific dates, there's specific time. Okay, this person might be obviously at work, and they use half their lunch break to get outside and walk. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, it's also, as you can see, it's not every single day, right? Okay, they need to be smaller at the beginning, because you don't want to overwhelm yourself right away. Another example would be like, I will grocery shop on Sunday from 9 to 10 a.m. for my meal prep. So at 8 o'clock in the morning, you wake up, put your clothes on, you go to your favorite grocery store, and you shop for an hour, and then get home to meal prep. Next one would be, I'll get up at 5:15 a.m. Okay, that alarm goes off Monday through Friday in order to leave the house by 5:45 to get to my training session. So we need to kind of scale these implementation intentions on a 1 to a 10. 1 being like, not a chance, I'm not doing that at all. 10 being, I got this. And we want those implementation intentions to be a 9 out of 10. If they're scoring a 5 on that scale, we need to rework some things and go back to kind of that. We just need to go back to what we said. Okay, if it's like a Monday through Friday thing, and we look at that and you're like, that's not going to really work. Or you got to kind of get realistic with your schedule. Okay, maybe that doesn't work every single day just because you have to drop your kid off at early morning practice or something like that. Okay, so once again, starting small and then building on those is so crucial. So, like I said, you can always add more, but it's important that you set yourself up for success. Small success builds momentum. Okay, and our girl here, she always talks about this snowball, and it's always rolling down the hill, okay, to eventually create that avalanche. So we want to make sure we are building upon those small habits, because you can't just do the same habits forever and then expect amazing results and keep those amazing results, right? You kind of have to build on those, but slowly. Okay. So here's another example. My identity is I'm consistent and stick to my goals even when life gets busy. Keyword, consistent. So my identity, what I'm basing myself on, is consistent. My outcome-based goal, lose 20 pounds in 12 months. Remember, it's quantitative. I can track that, and there's a timeline to it, because a lot of people like to procrastinate, and I'm one of those people, and we don't want to obviously get to month 11, and we're like, oh crap, I gotta lose 20 pounds in 1 month. Okay? That's not ideal. I promise losing 20 pounds in 12 months is so easy, okay? But losing 20 pounds in 1 month is not ideal at all. Next would be clarity on the why. So this specific person, they want to move more comfortably and feel confident in their dress, in their suit, in their bikini, because that is what they think will motivate them. Next, what this individual chose to start with is eat veggies at every dinner meal, because we know that kind of adds volume to the meal, gets you full faster, fiber, good for all the things. and then walk on their lunch break 3 days a week. So these behavior-based goals, maybe she sticks with them for like a month, month and a half, and if they're easy and she's able to stick with them, maybe she adds in a couple days of strength training or 90 ounces of water or anything that kind of adds to the results. And then our implementation intentions towards those behavior-based goals, so we're breaking it down even more. She buys veggies on Sunday and bulk preps them for the week. And then she packs her sneakers for work. She sets an alarm on her phone at 12:45 or 12:15, like I said, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And then once that alarm goes off and she's sitting at her desk, she gets up, puts her sneakers on, and then moves. Okay? So, and it can be this simple at the very beginning. We want simple, we want sustainable. So, little baby recap. We want to establish who we want to become with identity. So, if you want to be a person that gets up at 5 a.m. and trains, you got to tell yourself that. I have a thing on my phone, and it's called a to-do list, and it's a widget. And I don't know if any of y'all know what widgets are on your phone, okay? But they're like bigger on your screen. So I have something that says I have clear skin, because that's something that I struggle with, and I do everything for my health when it comes to that stuff. And so when I look at that, I read that every single day. I like say it in my brain, because that's super important to me, and that's what motivates me to do everything. Next is that set your outcome-based goal. We got to get clear on our why, establish our behavior-based goals, and then set those implementation intentions. So that is that goal setting recap. And a little bit at the end, I'll go through this goal setting worksheet, but it basically breaks down all the things and kind of asks you questions in order to kind of identify outcome-based goals. Because in 3 weeks, the challenge is going to be done, right? And we want to continue this process, right? Everybody nod their head. Yes. Okay, we're not going back to the old version ourselves. We're already kind of building that 2.0 version. So we want to keep up that 2.0 version. So I hope this kind of helps. Well, think about this like after the 3 weeks, if that makes sense, when you're doing it, okay? Because obviously you have goals right now and you're achieving them, you're here, okay, you're present, you're in your training sessions, we're following the meal guide now. So I don't want you to put anything too easy, right, when it comes to goals after the challenge. But I'll go over that in a little bit. So now this whole new thing, tea time. And I should have called it like protein shake time to like relate it more to like gym. But I read this in a book, it's called The Art of Fear, and I was given it to me earlier this year, and it's a really good book. And I read like half of it, and then I just stopped. And I picked it back up at the beginning of this challenge because I wanted something to read throughout this challenge, because I already read the Extreme Ownership book. But I read this literally probably Wednesday, so I really hope I can like explain it pretty well. But I thought it was a super cool concept when it comes to intaking information. So I can explain all of these things. I can stand up here and tell you all the things when it comes to mindset, nutrition, training. Your coaches can explain all the things of what you need to do, what you maybe need to look into. Maybe you need to get curious about certain other things about your lifestyle behaviors. And we can offer you this protein shake, this tea, okay? But it's ultimately up to you to sip it, okay? Now this kind of sounds like cultish, you know, like Kool-Aid cult or whatever. Okay, but we have like good Kool-Aid here. We have the good Kool-Aid. Like, we're not ever trying to set you up for failure ever, okay? We want to make sure you sip, okay, our stuff, okay? Because there is a lot of Kool-Aid out there, right? There is a lot of Kool-Aid. And it gets confusing, but I swear, like, that's why I love our challenge, because it's so basic. And if you just do the things, the habits, okay, eat from the meal guide, do your things, like, I promise you, you'll get results. So, there are 4 types of tea cups. And And I want you to really think about, like, which one are you holding? And you may, like, look into all of these and be like, oh yeah, I'm definitely holding this specific one. But like, maybe you're actually not. So I want you to be honest with yourself. Okay, that's another huge thing when it comes to getting results and everything. Like, you have to actually be honest with yourself. Like, are you actually doing everything that you need to do in order to get what you want? So, first T cup. I really hope I can explain this well. So this is the upside down cup. You feel like you've mastered life, okay? You're just living life and you're uninterested, okay? This is what I think of, like, a fixed mindset of, like, I know everything, like, you can't tell me anything, okay? This is another kind of cool thing that about this whole upside down cup is, like, you don't want to lose the control that you've already built. Okay, you're in this comfortable little bubble and you want to just stick there. And then once somebody kind of, like, I don't know, challenges you, you're just like, get away from my bubble, okay? You want that control, you want to keep that control that you built. You like where you've arrived. This is that whole, like, idea of good enough. And I try not to say that, but sometimes obviously, like, some things they are good enough, okay? But, like, we need to improve. We need to get better. It's this whole, like, no, I don't want to do that because I'm just too good. So your cup is like this, and I'm trying to spill the tea, or your coaches are trying to spill the tea, and it just goes everywhere. It spills in your lap, and it just gets messy. So, upside down cup. Next one. There's mud and dirt in your cup. And I don't know why I want to say dirt, like country like that, but that's just what I'm going to say. So, mud and dirt. These are the beliefs, the habits, the identities that you have already set for yourself, and they're just sitting at the base of your cup. Okay, and they're old, moldy, disgusting. Okay, so anything that I put into your cup, it's gonna still be gross. It's gonna be tainted and nasty. And so when you sip, you're just like, meh, like that's gross. Okay, there's a lot of stories that we tell ourselves every single day. Like stories like, I can't cook, like I said earlier, or I am not a morning person, I don't like the gym, I don't like push-ups. There's a lot of stories that we can tell ourselves, and that's what taints this, okay? This is that fixed mindset. We don't want to grow at all. So, like I said, I can pour the tea, but the tea is just too gross to drink. And you do everything to preserve the mud and dirt in your cup. Okay, you don't want to clean the cup at all. You just want to keep those things. Because guess what? Those can be excuses for a lot of other things. Okay? You not being consistent. Okay? I'm just not consistent. Okay? That's why you can't get to the gym every day. It's just, no, just get some Dawn soap and just clean that thing. Okay? I can't because blank. Next one. There's a hole in the bottom of your cup. And I feel like, come on. I feel like a lot of people fall into this. You're interested, okay? You're here, right? You're interested in what I have to say. But all of the information that I give you, that your coaches give you, that Andy gives you, okay, it spills right out. So there's just a hole at the bottom, and I just keep on pouring that little protein shake, okay? It just keeps spilling, okay? Waste away. So you end up with nothing to drink, but you complain about being thirsty. And there's nothing more that irks me is that people who complain about certain things, and I was there totally once, right? I used to complain a lot and then do nothing about it. And that's like the real issue. Like, you can complain all you want, but until you actually set things in place, set your actions up for yourself, you're just gonna keep being thirsty. It's the whole, okay, I'll do it, I'll commit to the 6-week challenge, but then I fall off, okay? I don't want to start over, do the work, put in the effort, change unless I have to. Typically, really don't change unless you're like in a lot of freaking pain. Back in the day, like I didn't even know what like really gluten was. But like 2 years ago, like I totally completely cut out gluten and dairy because I was in so much pain of certain symptoms that I had and still continue to have. But sometimes we don't want you all to get to this point of like, I'm in so much pain. And I have all these injuries to where it's like, I'm in so much pain and then I'll change or then I'll alter something, okay? We don't want you to get to that kind of breaking point because sometimes that's needed, but we don't want you to get there. The next, okay, this is the good cup if you haven't guessed. Okay, this is the open, empty, upright cup. Okay, it's ready for serving. So you can't ignore that you're capable of change anymore. You're willing to reach into the discomfort, and we're drinking the tea, and we're fully nourished. So I really like this because the past couple weeks, right, some of y'all decided to fast. Some of y'all decided to do the ice challenge or ice bath challenge. And that's like, I know this is going to sound terrible, but like us coaches were so surprised of how many people actually committed to those things because those are hard, okay? Getting into an ice bath, like that's difficult for a lot of people mentally, but y'all chose, okay, to be that open, empty, upright cup. So we appreciate that because now you're like, okay, that's under my belt, okay? What else can I do? What else can I accomplish? So a lot of this kind of leads to more cups of being upright and empty and ready to take in all the good nutrition. So this is the teacup that we all want to be holding. We don't want to be the one with the hole. We don't want to be the one with all the dirt in it, okay, to taint our drink. We want to make sure that we're open to the idea of growing, open to the idea of challenges. Because that's ultimately how we grow, how we become who we want to be. So she, the girl who wrote the Fear book, she added this quote in, and I just really liked it. It says, the important thing is this, to be able at any moment to sacrifice what we are for what we could become. I feel like a lot of times, like we tell, I don't have kids, so this is weird for me to say this, but like, I feel like a lot of people tell their kids, like, you can become anything you want. But, like, we don't tell ourselves that. Like, we don't really think that way. But I want y'all to start thinking that, like, a lot of things are achievable. They are attainable. Okay? Maybe not right now in this moment, in this season of your life, but eventually it might be. So, as we grow older together, okay, I want you to think about that. Like, the goals and the reaching for your potential doesn't stop when you like finish college. Like I feel like we always talk about that for like high schoolers. It's like, oh yeah, you can achieve anything you want and all these things. But like as adults, it's like, okay, this is my life now, and this is just how I'm gonna stay. But it's like, what? That's not fun. We want to obviously grow, become better every year. Okay. So now we're gonna talk about this worksheet super quick. So let me pull it up. So like I said, to get your 10 full points, and in a second we're going to take a big picture so then I know who actually was here and I don't forget. But to get your 10 total points, you got to submit this to me by Wednesday of next week. Okay? And then the people that weren't here, they'll obviously get it on Monday and give it to me for 5. So this may seem intimidating at first, but I want you to, like, before you do this, don't just do this in, like, car line or something. Or, like, I don't know, in between, like, you're cooking and doing something else. Like, I want this to be your sole, like, you're only focused on this for 30 minutes or 45 minutes while you're doing it, okay? I don't want your mind on anything else, just yourself, okay? So, I'll go through it really quick. But it's basically exactly what I kind of explained earlier. So identify the outcome-based goal. We get clear on our why. And then there's just questions to answer there. And then we establish behavior-based goals. So we have 3 options there, but then I want you to click or check off 2 that you're actually going to implement after the challenge, or now if you're not in the challenge. Are you excited to work on these? And make sure, like, write a pencil, okay? And then maybe go over it in pen after you establish everything, okay? But some things, like, you might have to alter because you're not really willing to work on it right now. Set those implementation intentions, and then you're rating in that on a 1 of, like, not likely, I'm not going to do it, or I am likely to do it. So that is my whole little presentation, okay? We're 10 minutes early. So, does anybody have questions or anything? Or anything to add? Maybe, maybe not. Does anybody have any ideas of, like, goals or things they want to continue after the challenge that they want to share?
Just keep getting jacked.
Get jacked, okay.
Right, Donna?
What? I didn't hear you.
So just keep getting jacked.
Yes. But I really appreciate all y'all coming. Like I said, whether you're here to get the 10 points or actually fuel your brain. Okay, I don't want to say enjoy doing these things, because, like, talking in front of people is like, I mean, have you ever heard of, like, I think the biggest fear over anything is, like, literally talking in front of people. So Andy has put me in this position and trying to help
You're doing
grow.
great, Maddie.
Right, thank you. Thank you.
You did a good job. You did a good job. Such a big difference.
Well, like, this is my thing. I think I literally wrote it in my mantra that I was like, I'm gonna be able to talk in front of people. Like, that's a scary thing.
The difference in this from the first time to the next.
Well, good.
It is.
I appreciate it. Thank you. But I really do enjoy talking about all of this. I love writing about it, emails, content, because I think this is more, I don't want to say that, but, like, I feel like this stuff is more important and what actually people need to know and learn about more than the training, than the nutrition, okay? We've set it up to where you just show up and we tell you what to do when it comes to training, and then the challenge stuff, like, this is the meal guide and everything. And we can get into more nitty-gritty details in seminars about certain things and topics, but, like, I really love talking about this because I think it's just so important.
It's good because when we're here training, we don't have time. We don't talk about this.
Yes.
And like I told you, this is not just a 6-week thing. It's forever.
Exactly. Okay, and that's what I want you to, frame your mind when it comes to these things. Or it's like, oh, I'm gonna just go off the rails until the next 6-week challenge. It's like, no. Like, we want you to build upon those things. And this past time with my nutrition coach, like, I've actually been able to maintain, and maintaining is the hardest part. So, like, I hope this information will help you maintain the results that you've gotten until the next challenge, or until the next time you try to step into a new goal. So, I appreciate you all coming out. We're gonna get a cute little picture, and then I'll give you our worksheet. Okay, make sure we fill it out by Wednesday. Give it to me. Okay, pretend I'm not gonna read up, because I might not. Okay, but I probably will, because I'm interested. But don't just write things that I want to see, right? Make sure you be honest and all the things. So let's get a quick photo so then I don't forget.
Is the seminar going to be, can we look at it again?